So, how you doing? My name is
Hello,
Caesar.
I'm Brittany.
Brittany, before we get started, I just want to let you know about our rules of confidentiality. Whatever you say in here stays with both of us,
Okay.
unless it's something that can harm somebody else, harm yourself, or you can harm anybody. That's the
Okay.
only thing. Then I'll have to actually notify the proper authorities. Other than that, everything you can say whatever you feel like speaking about.
Okay.
The sessions that I do are usually like half hour, 30 minutes, and they usually involve CBT counseling, which is cognitive behavior, and which deals with feelings and how the feelings affect the way we act and our actions and stuff like that.
Okay.
If that's okay with you,
Sounds good.
all right. So tell me what brings you here today.
What brings me here today is pretty much just who I am today, and simply I think is a split part of my parents, pretty much from their divorce. I'm 26. My parents divorced at 16.
Okay.
So from there, me and my dad have a really close relationship.
Yeah.
And as I was going through my elementary years of school and middle school, he was doing whatever he was doing to my family, pretty much breaking us apart slowly but surely.
Okay.
And then he waited, because I'm the last baby, he waited till I turned 16 to then depart from himself.
Okay.
So when I turned 16, I heard the truth about him, doing the dirt.
Okay.
I didn't believe it because I'm daddy's little girl. So
Yeah.
it kind of broke me because I didn't want my family to break apart.
Yeah.
I have four older sisters as well. So they kind of seen everything before I seen it.
Yeah.
So I got the backhand of everything. Also, when I went to college is when he left my home. He found another family and he went there.
Mm-hmm.
And it broke me down because of the fact that, like I said, I'm daddy's little girl. And, I think that kind of why I am the way I am, like hard skinned, because I feel like people come and go out of your life. So
Okay.
it's like, I feel like is you can't really count on people to stay. If your family leaves the way they do, is like, really count your blessings at the end of the day.
Okay.
So I'm a jerk at times to like my
Mhm.
outsiders, because I feel like if my father couldn't leave my family, then I don't really count on my fingers of how many friends or family I have to myself. It's
Okay.
kind of just like a me, myself, and I
Okay.
type of thing.
All right. So it seems because of the actions that took place, it seems like you have a revolving door.
Yeah,
Like people
people come
come
in and
and
out.
go, and it doesn't bother you at all.
No.
Okay. You want to
And
talk a little
so,
bit about that? Like how does
I mean,
that?
people come in and out. It does bother me because I'm just like, when can I ever find out one to stay? My dad is still in my life, and so is my mom. So I have a relationship with both of them,
Right.
and they still communicate because we have kids together. So it's me, my sisters, and my dad has two sons on that side. I'm not really close to those two on that side, but they do communicate social media wise, hi and bye.
Yeah.
But we still try to keep a family going, like family events. My parents would get together. I just recently graduated. So they was together, baptism, they together. But I just feel like at the end of the day, you are who you are, based on your past, based on your family,
Okay.
and you have to just build from that. Learn,
Okay.
live, and learn. So I'm living and learning myself right now. So
All right.
I'm just kind of becoming my own person, but still seeing where the hole was dig from of any actions that may be taking place down the line, where it started from. And it could be from the divorce. The divorce did make a big part, and I'm sure it took a big part in anybody's life, depending on how close you are with your family.
Yeah.
Especially if you want to see them together and then it breaks apart. It could be, a depressing thing. But I had basketball motivated me. I had the gym motivated me. And I got into a relationship that also motivated me to stay
Okay.
strong and, just be who you are, and just don't blame others for your actions and decisions. Just
Okay.
know behind your head that there is a deep hole to where it started, and it's up to you to become your own person, or up to you to follow the same track that your parents was in,
Okay.
and being a jerk or whatever people want to call it.
All right.
A-hole.
Well, it seems like you have like a couple of things like basically set on how you're gonna go forward,
Right.
on how you're gonna handle the rest of your life. But I want to go back to one small thing that you said. You said that by your father's actions, that it took your family apart, and it was very, very hurtful. You said that it broke you down.
It did.
What did you mean by it broke?
It broke me down because when I found out when I was 16 that he was doing his dirt previous years, it was like he didn't have a direction. He kind of just did it based on his emotions and what he felt was right, because people go off signs. So like you emotional and you sensitive as a Cancer, for example. My mom was a Cancer. So he felt like, all the arguing and nagging and things like that was like he had to remove himself from that. But he did it the wrong way, So I'm not going to call him a deadbeat or a coward because he's still in my life and my sister's life as well. But he went the wrong direction. He could have communicated a little better. But as adults, I feel like maybe in his defense is like you say so much but nothing gets done. So it's kind of like I'm to the next step. And that's probably what he did. I can't speak on his behalf. But it broke me down simply because I couldn't focus in my first year of college because I was even getting phone calls from my mom being home by herself because I was away in school. My sister was never home because she was a pastor, so she was away in retreats. So she was home alone dealing with her first year of divorce. So it broke me down because I couldn't find a direction to where I wanted to do and where I wanted to go because I had to always come back home to, be with my mom because I didn't want her doing it alone. So it's like, damn, Dad, like, why you had to do it now,
Yeah.
Why couldn't you do it when my sisters was around more because they older? I'm the baby, so you wouldn't wait till your last child go find her career to do your nonsense.
Yeah.
So it's like, it hurts more because it's like, daddy's little girl, I'm right there by his side at all times, and I want to have a relationship with both my parents, but not separate. So seeing that I got to see one on one weekend, one on the other weekend is like, what happened to the family outings, vacations, things like that. So now I feel like I got to build that on my own to keep them together by achieving different things, graduation, one day getting married, to see them together. But other than that, it's like I got to see them separate. Who really wants to see that? But I'd rather see him like that than see him behind the glass. So I respect that he's still around, still doing what he's doing. He's working. My mom works. So I'm still happy to see they living good, they healthy, they happy apart. But for myself, I just know which direction I won't go in. Moving forward in my career, in my life, I'll communicate more so I don't see my kids or myself go through the stages my mom went through, or even my dad,
All right, but like I'm listening to everything that you're saying, and it seems like you said that it broke you down, and you're saying, and I can see some of the frustrations that you're saying because it seems like you're saying says you're the baby, so you're the last one coming up, and it seems like you were the one that was left there to pick up the pieces of everything, try to put everything back together.
Right.
Now, how accurate is that you ended up having to pick up the pieces, let's say, for mostly everybody, since your sisters are older, or not, they were not there, like they had their own situations going. So now it was up to you to help your mom build up from probably zero, it seems.
Right. I think being around my mom while she was going through that made me stronger because we was going to church together. We opened up after that, we opened up about 5 New Years, just me and her, every January 1st. It was like a consistent thing. We kept it going. We kept it going by ourselves. And I'm still mommy's little girl, but it's more like me and my dad. I don't have any brothers that I can call my own besides on his side. They older. So it's like, I'm like a little boy to my dad, so we hang out, we do games, we do different things that me and my mom couldn't do because my mom is not into the sports, but she support all the way. But as far as stepping out, going fishing, doing basketball games, my dad was the one. So having to pick up the pieces for my mom is like I had to take a step back and really see where it all began at, how it started, to know where to counsel her through pretty much, walk her through it, and pretty much be her backbone because who wants to do that alone?
Right.
So we had myself and the man above to help us move forward. That's how we had to get it through. So it was hard because it was like, it was certain things she didn't want to speak about that happened back then, but it was the only way that I can get the open door to know where I can help you at. And it's like, as your daughter, I can say but so much at 16, 17, but that helped me more in like reading more outside sources, how people deal with divorces at a young age, but also seeing where the obstacle went wrong, with her, the nagging, the complaining. So it's like, you got to know where your wrong was at too. So I guess me being on both ends of the fence of his end, hearing his story, hearing her story, now it's because of me. I'm the middleman. So now I can see where the balance and the wrong went. And I think it helped her because then she got to hear my side as a baby, how it was destroying the family with your complaining and nagging. And to my dad, how it destroyed the family for not communicating and not doing things a guy's way of communicating and you know trying to fix it rather than fixing it somewhere else, fixing it with the household.
Yeah.
So I feel like it got me stronger. It did. It got me stronger simply because now I know where to go right and not to go wrong, you know, in that aspect. And it just gave me an open mind to how people really are
Yeah.
and how people see you as a human being. Like my mom gave me her insight of how I am as a kid, how I may took a place in that decision, or how I see in her and how I see to her like where she could have been wrong. So criticism was happening.
Yeah.
And I think being open with your family that way will help things build better that way. You can't just be I'm gonna nurture you because you're my mom, or you're gonna nurture me because you're your daughter. No,
Right.
we're best friends and we're gonna talk openly so we can see what things are wrong at.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, this happened at the age of 16, correct?
Yeah, 16.
So do you feel that at the age of 16, that do you feel that it took away from some of the experience,
Of
experience that
course.
you should have had at that age, that
Of
you should have
course.
experienced, instead of you having to become some sort of like a
Guidance
a
counselor.
counselor,
Right.
Sort of a counselor for them.
Yes and no. No, because I wanted to see where the wrong was at because my mom and I are the same sign. She's the July 9th, I'm July 10th. So we right there. So if I can see where her wrong is at, it maybe can be where my wrong is at when I move forward, because you always got the family footsteps no matter what you do or how you do it. You still got a family trait of the bloodline. So
Right.
anything she may be doing wrong, I can do wrong down the line. I know how to go where to fix it at.
Yeah.
It didn't take away so much of it. It actually got us closer because then now she was more on my basketball games. You know, she was cheering me on. She was more my
Right.
cheerleader. And it motivated me to see her happy that I'm doing something positive. Then once I graduated, I seen them together. From high school, I seen them together. And it made me happy because it was like accomplishment was made. I see my family together. So it kind of like made me strive for greatness more to
Right.
graduate and to see them together. So I feel like if I had to graduate from college, see them together. If I got to graduate from high school, see them together. Anything that made me want to graduate or move into a better career, to see them together, I was striving for, because I knew at the end of the day I would see them together in a
Okay.
family, my sisters and
Yeah.
all of us together.
All right. Now, from everything that you're telling me, it seems like you took everything that they wouldn't do, and you took it and you incorporated everything that was missing from the relationship of your mom and your dad, and you took all of that
And made it into
and made it into something that you use for the relationship with your mom, and for the relationship with your
my
dad, and you brought it together, trying to, in some ways, probably patch it up as
Right.
best as you could at the age that you did.
right.
How right is that?
That is correct. I feel like I feel like that's how I did it, simply because you see people now at the age 16 who don't really care about parents dividing, and they go out and do their own thing.
Right.
But that gave me the bigger out vision to like go do basketball, travel with my team. So at the end of the day, at my games, I'll see them together. You know. So it was like, I feel like I did the right thing, and it made me stronger once again. And
Okay.
seeing them happy together, even though it was like behind scenes, it was like, I hate you.
Right.
But to the world, it was like, we a family, we're gonna do this together, we're gonna make sure our daughters see us together.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, all my sisters, not just me, all my sisters, we accomplished it, and they was all there.
Okay.
So
From all of the things that you did, like you patched up mom, you put those things together. How did the rest of your family react to it, like your sisters, since those are the other ones that were affected by the decisions made by your parents?
they took it in like Brittany was a peacemaker type of thing, and I was in some aspect, but at the end of the day, I kind of felt like I wasn't, because they not together in the household.
Yeah.
But I think it made them happy, because it was like, at the time that it was happening, they couldn't do much because it was happening.
Yeah.
So now it came down to the finalize that they didn't want to be together no more. So they probably felt like it was the end of it for them to keep them together. So to have me come up and grow up and be who I am and do what I do, to see them come back together, it was like, it took all that to see y'all together in the same room. But it still happened. So I guess they gave me the more respect as a younger person than them. And also because like I'm bringing them back together as a whole, because I'm the baby, you
Yeah.
know? And I'm not out there doing negative. I'm doing positive still along with them, and we still motivating ourselves to do better. We not they divorced, all right. So that's time for us to go party and do nonsense. So I'm graduating. I got a good job.
Right.
I'm doing what I gotta do. So I think they all respect it, and we all still, as a whole, love one another and our parents. Despite the differences, we still a family.
Okay.
So.
How did that, what you went through at that young age, how did watching your mom go through that and watching your dad do what he did, how does that affect you, like right now? Let's say if you have a relationship right now, how does that affect that in a negative and in a positive way? How do you see relationships now after seeing that?
I don't really go off of them because life was different back then when they was growing up. So decisions that they made was probably what they wanted to do. I look at it as that I'm my own person. I learn from them, but I also learn from myself. So
Yeah.
my mistakes are my mistakes. I'm not gonna blame anybody from them. It just hurts me now because it's like guidance wise, I have my own guidance, but it's also good to have a second ear from your parents of what's right and what's wrong in some aspect. And some people live off the old days of how things used to be, how things should be, and how things used to be. But not seeing them together is like takes a toll on me in my relationship because then it's like, how can I trust the next person to know that I'm gonna stay with you for a long period of time if my dad can leave the way he did? You know, you can leave at any given time as well. But I guess that's where it comes to me, take my flaws and my strengths is to communicate more, which my mom probably was doing, but just in a different way, and to build a relationship, a friendship, or whatever it is that my dad felt he didn't have with my mom, I can build my next relationship so I can do better and not have the same outcome. But taking it back to the why it hurt me with my dad, because it's like having my dad around for all those years, he's my best friend, you know? And then seeing him with like a different person, no kids on that side, a different person besides the two boys he had, but back then. As like I see him with somebody else, it's like I lost my best friend, you know?
Right.
So it's like not having him around is like I can't really consider the next person I'm with my best friend, because it's like I lost my dad as my best friend on that aspect, you know? And, you know, when me and my dad do things together, it's like we together, but then a phone call will come through and it could be the next person. And it's like, it's us time, you know? So I don't have that more of us. So now I feel like I got to share with my dad and somebody else, and taking it back to myself, I don't want to feel like I got to share me with the person as well.
Right.
They doing whatever they doing. So it's like trust issues is going to be hard.
Yeah.
Trust issues is really going to be hard for me. But I guess that's me to live and learn and to make my decisions off of that and go the right direction so I don't go in that direction.
Okay. So yeah. So from what you're saying is at losing your dad, which you even stated, that was your best friend.
Right.
So if you can lose your best friend at such a young age, for whatever the reasons are that you did lose your best friend at that time, it brings up the, like you said, this sort of trust issues, even with the relationship that you have right now.
Right.
Like you saw somebody as important as your father just go.
Right. So that means anybody can
Can go. Do you think that can be like a big challenge for you as you deal with relationships and as you go forward?
It could, simply because it's like you never know who you can trust or who you can depend on. You know, if people can up and leave that fast, then you don't want to give your all to somebody and then they up and leave just as fast as that. I don't have kids, so my mom was even lucky to have 4 of us to be with her. You know, to guide her through it, whether it was at the moment it happened or after it happened, she still had guidance. So now, if it happens to me, because of my decision, it's like, who will I have to lean on? I don't want to give all my problems to my family, because it's like they have their own issues. And I'm not going to relate it to my friends, because your friends are always going to give you an insight on your behalf, because that's your friend. Some friends will criticize. At the end of the day, they're always going to be like, you're right, not knowing the other side of the story.
Right.
So I kind of feel like it depends on how you are with your partner to communicate that with them. But, you know, talk to them, open up to them. That becomes your best friend. So if you can do different from what your family did, parents wise, then you make it better. So if I have a relationship now, I can be able to let the person know I had a past with my family the way it did. Let's build different. If I feel type of way, if I feel we drowning, let's talk about it. Let's go out to eat. Let's go for a drive. Let's work on this. It don't go down that direction because at the end of the day, your best friend is really yourself, or it can be your animal, your dog. But it's about being realistic and keeping it just. You are your only best friend at the end of the day. So I feel like it's hard in some aspect because you want to be able to depend on somebody for some point, but then at the end of the day, you really can't. It is what it is.
So communication is key. It's basically the gist of it. It seems like a mom and dad had a lack of communication.
Right.
That would basically is what you're
Pretty
saying.
much.
So you're gonna take that which you feel is the main component of how things broke down between them and use it to your advantage in the future with the relationship that you have going, right? All right. You want to talk a little bit about that?
In my relationship?
Oh.
My relationship now is like is pretty good thus far, and we're building our relationship to do better. All right, so taking it to like I'm in a previous relationship now, but my past relationship is what broke me down as well, because after slightly opening up to that part about my family, and then seeing my significant other do opposite of that and not be there, after I'm saying I need somebody to listen to me, I need a good a good shoulder, a good heart, and do the opposite is like, well, damn, what was the point of opening up to that, So that kind of broke me down, and I was just completely to myself for a year, kind of like getting Brittany time. Let me have Brittany time. Let me figure out myself. Let me figure out if it's just me being emotional, if it's just me holding my parents' past to myself so I can't move forward. Let me take my time to myself. So I did, and I found the relationship that I am in now, and it's about to be 2 years overall.
Right.
And I'm happy where I'm at because I feel like the person that I'm with is understanding, can communicate, talks me through my issues.
Right.
And based on my significant other past, they also had a rough past, so it's like I'm not the only one who's been through it.
Right.
We've been through it together, so we're gonna get through it together. You don't want to see something, I don't want to see something. Let's talk about it because we both know what it feels like to be hurt, relationship wise and family wise. And I'm very happy where I'm at now, physically, mentally, and emotionally and physically, because I'm fit. I'm going to the gym. I'm doing what I gotta do for myself, becoming my own person. And at the end of the day, I know I can sleep good at night because I got a good partner by my side who ain't doing what's happening in the past, So I know I can depend on that person to be there if I'm going through an emotional stage because I miss my dad being there to like play ball with me. I can call that person to be like, hey, I'm going through it again, without them complaining, like, get over it. You would never get over a divorce at such a young age. You have to cancel so much at so young to do so much as you didn't expect.
Yeah.
So to have a good person to listen to you and understand, no matter 5-6 years from now, I know I can depend on that person to be there for me.
Okay.
So I think that's a good thing. Like, we opposite for the most part. As far as emotional, my partner is very strong, very strong, and their emotions, but they understand my emotions. I can be sensitive, I can break down, but that doesn't take away from what we have, that we came from, as far as like going through what they went through. And I'm just like, man up. But I'm a good listener. And then going through what I go through and telling me, man up. But they're a good listener. So I think it works for the best of us.
Yeah.
So.
Like, I listened to something you said about your previous relationship before this one. It's like, in a way, you saw what was coming. Like, you saw it. You see how perhaps maybe the lack of communication or little things, and you probably took a step back, like you said, to have your own time.
Right.
To rebuild yourself. Am I right by that? Is that what you did? Like,
I
saw
did
it
that.
and then rebuilt?
I was in a 2-year relationship previous before the one I'm in now. And that took a big toll on me because I opened up. I was the one talking the most in the relationship, opening up, thinking that, okay, we're going to have something here.
Right.
So I'm letting the person know, like, I'm emotional when it comes to certain topics. My parents went through this. My family went through this, So I'm thinking that them listening was them hearing me out and being like, I got your back. I got you with this. But they took that and ran with it and kind of left me in the back. So
All right.
it was like, what was the point? Communicate with me. I'm telling you, I have trust issues. I'm telling you, lack of
Yeah.
communication is what happens around me. And then you go do me lack of communication. So it was like, what was really the point of taking 2 years of my life of lacking communication, and I'm the one striving for this, striving for that, but not wanting to let go because I didn't want to be alone. So I took that and I ran with it rather than just taking it and taking it to myself. I took that, okay, we got a year in, the first year's always shaky in my
Yeah.
eyes, love blind. And I took that and I'm like, oh, we got another year coming up. We'll be fine. And it's got worse. So
Right.
I was like, I can't be no sucker for love. I'm going to get out of this and I'm going to just do me because I feel like it's my fault. I blame me for something somebody else was doing.
Okay.
Kind of find out it was never me. It was the person.
Right.
So, I blame myself. I hit myself over the head because I'm like, it's just me, it's me, it's me. When everything hit the fan, it was like, oh, damn. It
Right.
wasn't them. I mean, it wasn't me. It was really them. So I kind of, recollected myself, reevaluated myself, asked people for criticism because I wanted to hear it.
Yeah.
I didn't want to keep the beat and want to talk. Tell me what I'm doing wrong as a friend. Tell me what I'm doing wrong as a sister. Tell me what I'm doing wrong as a friend, as a best friend, a partner, whatever it is. Let me know so I know where to pick up my pieces at.
Okay.
I was told that left from right, and that's what made me get into where I'm in now. So now I know where my flaws is at, my weaknesses at. My weakness is this, my weakness is that.
Right.
I'm able to speak on it. So if it happens, you can't be like, what the hell? So I'm telling you because I know up front where I'm going wrong at.
Yeah.
So if it is what it is. At this point, you're going to take whatever I'm telling you among yourself because it's like, if you're going to run with it, that's you just being inconsiderate to my feelings at this point.
Okay.
If I'm telling you I had a rough past, I had a rough
Yeah.
this, I'm letting you know at the gate. So if it happens down the line, you sign up for it, you stood in it, you know what you're doing.
Right.
So far so good.
All right. So in the previous relationship, you said you shared and you shared and you shared. Did you think that you like I don't know, you correct me if I'm wrong. You probably went back to what you saw as a 16-year-old and you felt maybe that now in that relationship, you felt like if you shared, the other person will automatically share right back?
Yes and no, because the person that I was with was kind of like a private person.
Okay.
What they use, a private person, so they didn't feel to open up because they were strong enough to deal with it on their own. They dealt with it before they met me. They can deal with it while they met me. So it was like, that's not fair in some way because how you go to build is a two-way street. You got to build together. So I feel like it was a one-way street in that way. But then again, it's like having a good listener at sometimes is also good.
Yeah.
But my partner wasn't that. I'm not gonna take away the good times we had
Right.
and the good parts we had, but when it came to rough, I was alone. If that
Okay.
answers what you're saying, like I don't.
No. What I was trying to get at is the communication part of it.
Oh yeah, the communication
Because
part.
you stated that you would share everything. See, being that what you went through as a young 16-year-old, you saw those things, so you felt like I'm gonna just communicate.
Right. And have them
Try to lead by example of
Right.
sorts. But did that person actually follow that?
No.
That's what I was trying to.
No.
see.
They didn't follow that. They kind of just, like I said, took it and ran with it. Like, okay, let me take all your emotions, but I don't know where we are apart. Where we are two at. Like, I'm telling you where I'm going wrong at, so you know where my flaws and weaknesses at. Tell me where your flaws and weaknesses at, so I know where to pick up your pieces at. But because I wasn't said and done, it was kind of like I said, one-way street. So no, that kind of made me remove myself, and yeah, it kind of made me open up my eyes more to like, where am I going wrong? Communicate with me. I'm a good listener. You can talk to me.
Right.
I give good advice. I don't follow my own advice, but I give good advice. So it's like, why can you talk to me? And I kind of find out it wasn't just me in the picture. That's why the communication
Okay.
was, down, and it made sense. But I didn't know that until the end.
Right.
They played their cards really well. Then, it was like, that's why you didn't communicate with me, because you had a second ear.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so
Yeah.
that has to be something a little shocking to
Right.
find out,
Exactly.
and that actually probably added even more to the
So
trust
trust
issues
issues
from the very beginning.
exactly.
So it makes perfect sense for you to actually take time for yourself and rebuild yourself.
Exactly. And
Is
really
that
figure
is
out
that now I see where you're coming from with the
Mm-hmm.
rebuilding process and just taking time for you.
and recollecting myself, because it's like if it's not me, then what is it? What am I
Mhm.
not offering to the table that you asking for? I'm giving
Yeah.
you everything you want. I'm pretty much being a good partner, but it's something more you want that I'm not giving to relate that, rather than running off. But instead of them relating it, they kind of ran off for it. So it was like, all right, let me take a step back and figure out what's really happening. And that's what I did. And
Okay.
I communicate that with the person that I'm with now.
Right.
It was all ears, because it was vice versa in their past. So it was like, all right. So now we're on the same page here. We have the same, not same, but we have almost like similarities to our past. So we know where to go wrong, or where things
Okay.
were right at. So I feel like that communication is really strong where I'm at now, which is why we're still, moving forward.
Right.
And trust issues is amazing. I mean, not amazing. We have trust.
Right.
Trust issues is not a problem. We have trust, loyalty, and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm rebuilding myself, but not alone.
Right.
So I'm finding myself in somebody else. I'm like, okay, this is where things can go right, this is where things can go wrong at. But we good though. I'm happy. I'm good where I'm at. And I think I took all that to be where I'm at now, and it just made me stronger. It really just made me really stronger.
Wow, so that's good. You took from everything. You took all the negative from everything that you've been through since the age of 16, and
Just
now you're
made it
taking all that
positive.
negative, made it positive, and used it
Yep.
to like infuse into the relationship that you are in right now, and make it into something that is worth your time, worth you fighting for.
Right.
Right, all right. So that sounds very, very good. Well,
Thank you.
Yes. It was nice talking to you today, Brittany. Our half hour is up. If you would like, we can continue to talk on another time, another session, if that's okay with you.
Sure.
All right. Well, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.